baseball, and we do a little recap from last night. A couple things to get to. Number one, what a job by Verlander. He had the one trouble inning. I watched some of this ball game. They got runs early against Castillo, who gave up a big home run and some hits there under a 6-pitch sequence in the early part of that game where the Astros scored 4 runs and relaxed. And then Verlander went all the way into the 9th inning, 96 pitches. How about that? Dusty lets him pitch into the 9th inning, no taking him out in the 6th inning, as half these managers do in these big games. Dusty lets him go. He pitches into the 9th inning, and of course the Astros win the first game of this big 3-game series against Seattle 5-1. Houston had not been playing well. They've been awful at home, and they had been bad against the Mariners. They had lost 8 of the first 10, but they won a big game there last night, which means they're a game and a half ahead. The half a game is the win, the 1 game and a loss column. Remember, Seattle's got to make up that win, and they will try to do that Thursday against Texas. But before Seattle worries about the Rangers on Thursday night, Seattle, they don't win the night. I mean, you can make an argument their season's over. I mean, this is a must-get tonight. They have to have it. That's all there is to it. They probably need the next 2, but they certainly probably, gotta. If they lose tonight, they're gonna, start the last weekend of the year down by a game, and they gotta play the extra game. So if they lose 2 out of 3 here, they have to go 3-1 and hope the Astros go 1-2 in Arizona just to win, just to get the spot. So this is a very, very important game tonight. And Kirby's going to pitch, and he has not been great. He beat the A's, okay, but he has not been great in a couple of his last starts. Very, very important scenario for George as he pitches this game against Houston. Now, he pitched great against the Astros last year in Game 3 of the ALDS, so he's capable, but this is a game he has to have against Javier, who had a good ball game himself in his last start with 11 strikeouts. Here's the thing about the Mariners. Wasn't that long ago we thought Seattle was going to cruise in this division. They were playing so well. They are 7-14, since essentially late August. They lost a series to the Mets. They lost a series to the Reds. They lost 3 out of 4 in Tampa. They lost 3 straight in Texas. They lost 3 straight to the Dodgers. And then they beat the A's, but they have had a lot of trouble. So we see what Seattle's got in the gut in these next few days, because they have to have, Seattle with 5 games left, or they have 6 games left. Seattle with 6 games left. They have to, no worse than 4-2, and even that may not be enough. But 4-2 probably gets them in, or gets a tiebreaker for them. We shall see. Texas won last night too. They hit some home runs. John Gray pitched well, 5-1. The Rangers, and this is hard to believe with how poorly they were playing, the Rangers should go out there now and win this division and get the 2 seed in the American League postseason, which means Texas, will be lined up with that 4. Will be lined up with let's see. They will not be lined up. They'll be lined up with, boy, I tell you, Texas is going to have a heck of a chance. They're going to be lined up with Minnesota, because obviously Tampa and the 5th seed is going to be lined up with the Orioles, which is not fair, because those teams are better than Minnesota, and Texas will be matched up with the Minnesota winner against whomever they play in that first round, wild card round next week. We'll get Derek Favi on a little later on. Bottom line is, though, it's a little ahead of ourselves. Important game, must get for Seattle tonight against Houston, with Kirby pitching this game against Javier. Valdez will go tomorrow night against Miller, and Valdez is good in a big game. Astros are good on the road. We'll keep, and 39,000 last night in Seattle, good crowd. We'll see how it goes. That's number 1. NL, listen, last night, NL, the Diamondbacks lost yesterday afternoon to the Yankees. Horrific weather, and I was a little surprised Novello did this. 28 pitches the day before for his reliever on Sunday, and he brought him in yesterday in the 8th inning to pitch again, nursing a 1-run lead. That's a lot of pitches for a day game in that spot. Didn't have it, lost, and of course then the Diamondbacks ended up blowing 3 leads and lost the Yankees 2 out of 3. Cole won there on Friday night. So Cole didn't win Friday night. He beat the Blue Jays in his last game. But they did lose 2 out of 3. We'll see now how Arizona responds. They play the White Sox. They are tied with the Cubs. Miami's 1 back. Miami will play the Mets. The Cubs have a rough week in Atlanta against the Braves, and Arizona goes to Chicago, plays Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All these teams have 6 left, 1 game apart. The one advantage that Miami has, they have tiebreaker over the other 2 teams. If, in fact, there's a tie for one of those spots, we keep an eye on that. The 3-way tie stuff is too convoluted. I can't get wrapped up in that. I'm looking at the 2-way ties right now. Baseball should be interesting in the NL with that spot there and 2 spots available for the 3 teams. All right, and the other note I wanted to throw at you today, I mean, listen, the Padres, forget about what the game meant. It didn't mean anything. The Padres are a team that, was underachieving all year long. Even their winning streak last week, I myself didn't take it too seriously. They had plenty of chances all year. There's all sorts of stories coming out of San Diego about a dysfunctional clubhouse. Who knows if this is true or not? I mean, it seems like it centers on Machado. A lot of stories, and, so there's got to be something to it. Padres deny it. It's overblown. Who knows? Joe Musgrove is quoted. But I'll tell you one thing that isn't overblown. Hader did a terrible job here. Last night, he doesn't like to pitch in these 8th innings. Last night in the 8th inning, again, the season's over, so I don't want to make too big a deal about the game. But last night in the 8th inning, the Padres have a 1-0 lead, and theoretically, they haven't been mathematically eliminated. They had a 1-0 lead, and Conforto was up there, and they left the righty in with Hader in that bullpen, and then Conforto gets a base hit, and they scored 2 runs. I mean, that's a terrible job. Hader has got to volunteer there to come in a game. Now, he doesn't like to pitch in these 8th innings. I guess he hasn't done it since 2020. And obviously, a couple times last year in the postseason, in the 8th inning against Harper, he didn't pitch. We all got on Melvin there. Maybe that's not Melvin's fault because Hader doesn't want the ball. He did give up a home run to Freeman 2 years ago in the 8th inning in Game 4 with Milwaukee and Atlanta against the left-hand hitter. Now, he pitched the 8th inning. A lot of times he's pitched the 8th inning when he hasn't gotten a lot of work and they were losing. He's got to take the ball in the 8th inning last night. Now, can we have the video? Because you could tell Melvin's not too pleased. Can you run it? Let's play the video from Melvin. I usually don't do this, but this is interesting. This is after the game last night, asked about why no Hader, bottom of the 8th. Here you go.
You asked Suarez for 4 outs.
Yeah.
Hader could have been that guy against the lefty there. Is that just him going 3 outs?
It's what we're doing right now. Yeah.
And why is that?
It's because of the way we've handled it here.
Is there any discussion with them? Is there any thought?
We talked to him some, yeah.
That would seem to kind of run counter to the. You were saving him earlier in the season for later in the year, and here we are now, and it's obviously getting very late.
That's just the way it happened tonight.
All right, there you have it. So Melvin's not pleased. He's a big-time manager. Here's Hader's quotes. Now, I can't read them from how far I'm away, but what exactly? Why don't you paraphrase? Situation that we're in. The situation. Okay, so Hader is making a big deal. Well, it's not a playoff game, so why should it come in? Bottom line is the team in the bottom of the 8th inning get the out. All right? I know he's going to be a free agent to be. That's a terrible job by Hader. Get the out. The Padres are a mess. They're an absolute mess. The bottom line is the year has been a disaster. Hader's never going to be there next year. There are times in the course of one's run with a franchise, you got to suck it up and you got to go out there and you got to pitch. Get the 1 out. They've had a terrible year. Last year in the postseason, Game 5, now maybe he didn't pitch and Melvin didn't go to him because he didn't want the ball against Harper in the 8th inning of a tight game. Whatever the case, Hader does not get the benefit of the doubt here. That's an atrocious job. Bottom of the 8th inning, you can tell Melvin's annoyed. Hey, we talked to him some, he don't want to pitch. Hader in certain spots has got to get an out, and that's everybody who's a big-time reliever does that. You got to get an out there. He didn't do it, so I'm going to give him the blame. Padres are a complete mess. That's all there is to it. They're out. Giants are out. I'm going to get on Hader. I know he's a free agent to be. I'm tired of him. Snell's going to win the Cy Young. His ERA is 2.25, and he'll win the Cy Young. And yes, one addendum, the Marlins win all 3 tiebreakers. So if it's a 3-way tie, 2-way tie with either the Cubs or the Diamondbacks, Marlins get in. They're 1 out. Mets and Pirates they have. Diamondbacks have White Sox and Astros. Cubs have Braves and Brewers. That's what you need to know in the NL.